Hi everybody. Today in this video I'm going to be talking a bit about warming horses up, and this is carrying on from the video clip on my website which shows me just in a few minutes of warming up Brian, who is my horse, and there'll be plenty more of Brian coming later, so I'm hoping that my video clips will turn into a sort of a diary of his progress as we work and compete. So today I want to talk about warm-ups for a couple of different types of horses, because I often get asked by people what's the best way to warm a horse up, and lots of my clients are concerned that they give their horses the best possible chance to work correctly. So with the warm-up, we're trying to achieve a horse who's ready to work, who is ready to work both in terms of their body, they're physically ready to work, but also emotionally and mentally ready to work. And that's why you need different types of warm-ups for different types of horses, and also, in fact, for different circumstances. Because how you warm your horse up at home on a sunny day in your school might be different to how you need to warm up on a cold, wet day at a competition. So today I'm just focusing on two different types of horses, and the first one is the hot-headed, slightly tense, anxious horse. Now for these horses, during the warm-up, what we're trying to achieve is calmness. These horses often have a very active hind leg, and they have an engine that is really running, and so those are the good things. But if they are running, they tend to either grab the rein a bit and run through your hand, or they duck behind the contact and drop the bit. For these horses, the warm-up has got to do something towards making them calm. In the three tenets of work: forward, straight, calm. With these horses, we often have forward. We might not have straightness and calmness. So how do we get these horses calm in the warm-up? One of the best ways to work these horses, and something which they do benefit from, is working them a little bit lower in the frame and a little bit deeper in the frame. Now by this I certainly don't want to see them behind the vertical, I don't want to see them dropping the bit, and I don't want to see them with their heads pulled in. But for these horses, if you can encourage them to actively stretch and seek the bit and ride them forward into the bit, then these horses will benefit from this frame. When the horse's head is lowered, number one, that tends to help them raise their back, which in turn helps them to relax the long back muscles, and it also negates the effect of adrenaline. So when a horse's head is high, they're triggered for flight. When their head is lower, that suppresses the release of adrenaline. So if you can get these horses to work forward and lower, that tends to benefit them, and they almost want to work a bit like a metronome. It's almost boring work that they need, la da 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 da, round the school in trot, until they start to relax and calm and loosen and start to give you their bodies. So for these horses, the work can be a little bit boring. You don't want to start to razz their heads with lots of transitions and lots of turns and circles and changes of direction. You want to keep everything really calm and a little bit slower than they want to go. Very good trainer once said to me, always do the opposite of what your horse wants to do. That's assuming, of course, that your horse wants to do something different to you. But it's a good tip to bear in mind. So if your horse is running, slow. Now the second type of horse I want to talk to you today is the horse who sits behind your leg, isn't really active, doesn't really want to go forward, but at the same time can be really sharp and spooky. Now if you haven't ridden one of these guys, they're a little bit difficult to explain, but if you have, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They kind of feel a little bit lazy, but at the same time they can be super sharp and super reactive, and catch you off guard. Now these types need to be ridden really strongly forward, and for these guys you need to think about the active part of calm, forward, straight. The active bit is the bit that they're missing. So you've got to get these guys going forwards. These types, you don't want to let them be too low in their head and neck, because A, it can often tip their balance onto their heads, and B, it gives them a little bit more opportunity to take over. So with these guys, I like them to be in a more open frame, a little bit higher in the head and neck, and really forward. And challenge these guys with lots of turns, changes of direction, transitions to get them a little off your leg. Now, interestingly, they're often better warmed up in canter. And the reason for this is that when you're in rising trot, you have that moment in the rise where you're a little bit vulnerable, and that's the point they can choose to do something unplanned. So for these guys, I prefer to do a nice forward canter. That way you can still sit light, and you certainly wouldn't want to start your work with them in sitting trot, but you can get them in front of your leg, because with these guys, the main problem is they're not in front of your leg, and therefore they sit behind you and a little bit take over. So active forward, lots of things to keep their heads employed. They're often very clever horses, actually. Anyway, that's my warm-up tips for today. As ever, if you have any questions or you want to start a discussion, please just write on my blog, or you can contact me directly. And remember, have fun. Okay, see you all soon. Bye.